Iraqi Dinar today. Latest news: the global financial landscape is characterized by constant, often subtle shifts. But occasionally, these movements suggest a structural change of monumental proportion is approaching. Many individuals have been observing the specific situation surrounding the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, and the Vietnamese Dong, VND, for a significant period, anticipating a financial event that has been largely theoretical until now. What has changed in the current environment are the indicators, the soft signals emanating from the core of international banking infrastructure that transition the narrative from mere speculation to a state of measurable, observable preparation. These aren't the loud, attention-grabbing announcements seen in media headlines, but rather the quiet, deliberate technical steps required for a massive systemic overhaul. One of the most compelling signs for those monitoring a potential currency revaluation or restructuring is the persistent cycle of updates. Within major banking institutions' foreign exchange systems, standard foreign currency modules are designed to handle common travel and trade conversions. But what has been observed are updates specifically targeting the mechanisms for structured settlement currencies. These upgrades go beyond routine maintenance. They suggest a fundamental overhaul of the data infrastructure, intended to support transactions involving currencies like the IQD and VND, at a scale far exceeding current market activity. This painstaking digital preparation indicates that the systems are not merely being imagined for some distant future, but are actively being calibrated for imminent deployment. The technical readiness of global payment networks provides a crucial context for these internal banking updates. The full operational status of instant settlement networks in key financial jurisdictions, such as the United States FedNow system, coupled with the synchronization of cross-border clearing channels across Asia, is creating a web of instant secure settlement rails. This interconnectedness is the exact technological prerequisite for a large-scale, international currency adjustment. The moment these sophisticated digital conduits are fully linked and tested to include nations like Iraq and Vietnam, the foundational element for rapid, secure, and large-volume transactions, a necessity for a Tier 5B rollout, is established. The concept of Tier 5B itself is a term frequently used to define the final, public phase of a multi-staged global currency restructuring process. This tiered approach separates participants, starting with Tier 1, governments and sovereign entities, progressing through institutional, humanitarian, and select private groups Tiers 2, 3, and 4, before finally reaching the general public holding legally acquired currency. Tier 5B signifies the full transparent opening of exchange opportunities for individual, everyday holders. Every system readiness signal currently being monitored, from software updates to network synchronization, aligns perfectly with the necessary groundwork that must be completed just before this public phase is officially triggered, moving it out of the realm of abstract hope and into concrete planning. Discussions among current and former staff within high-level financial institutions are beginning to echo this sense of readiness. Whispers of internal exchange readiness tests or simulations have surfaced, providing an anecdotal but consistent confirmation of activity behind closed doors. These tests reportedly utilize placeholder rates, numerical values that, while not final or confirmed, fall within a realistic range of expected valuation. The act of running a simulation on a digital dashboard with active IQD and VND codes inside secure testing portals is a strong procedural signal. Financial institutions do not allocate resources to extensively test scenarios that are years away. They invest in preparing systems that are on the verge of activation. A compelling part of the current narrative revolves around the strategic timing within the global fiscal calendar. The conclusion of a financial year, particularly the months of November and December, traditionally marks the period when governments and central banks finalize their budgets and monetary policies for the subsequent fiscal cycle. For economies like Iraq and Vietnam, this period necessitates critical decisions regarding exchange rate stability, the balancing of trade, and international financial settlements. If a comprehensive currency adjustment is to be smoothly integrated into national fiscal policy, the end of the current year or the beginning of the next becomes a highly logical and strategically coordinated launch window. This timing allows central banks to quietly harmonize their digital and liquidity preparations before any public disclosure. Further evidence is found in the almost simultaneous surge of foreign currency module upgrades reported by banking customers across diverse regions. including North America, Europe, and Asia. While many customers dismiss these brief outages or maintenance messages as typical software updates, financial observers note that the timing often correlates with the installation of new currency configurations. These new configurations reportedly include enhanced emerging market categories and complex cross-checking mechanisms essential for the real-time settlement of structured, high-value exchanges. This parallel worldwide banking activity suggests a concerted effort across multiple, independent jurisdictions to prepare for a sophisticated and synchronized financial event. The convergence of global digital payment technology is a key theme for the 2025 readiness outlook. Beyond FedNow's full functionality, Asian central banks are linking their interbank clearing systems, now integrating key trading nations like Iraq and Vietnam. This robust digital infrastructure, combining instant settlement capabilities with rigorously tested security protocols, is what financial strategists refer to as system readiness. It represents the critical, final stage where the technical framework is complete, awaiting only the official trigger for public participation. For holders of the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong, this means the historical period of groundwork and anticipation is giving way to a phase defined by the finalization of the execution environment. This current phase differs significantly from the speculative rumors of the past due to the presence of tangible, structural proof within the financial systems themselves. The narrative is no longer built on anonymous claims but on verifiable internal updates, documented testing cycles, confirmed software synchronization across multiple platforms, and consistent terminology used in closed financial circles. When independent global banking systems begin utilizing specific vocabulary related to Tier 5B readiness in their internal planning documents, it signals a shift from vague possibility to an approaching operational reality. The prevailing tone has transitioned from a theoretical, someday, to a practical, almost ready, with the current operational silence being viewed not as uncertainty, but as a deliberate and controlled pre-launch measure designed to prevent market disruption, while the final, official exchange rates remain confidential and a subject of intense global scrutiny. Individuals with knowledge of the test environments have provided consistent insight. Reports suggest that the placeholder rates utilized during internal simulations for the IQD and VND fall within the range of earlier analyst projections. These are not confirmed public rates, but the fact that banks are utilizing structured forecasts from monetary authorities for their testing underscores a high level of realistic expectation. Running test transactions at these projected levels, such as the dinar in the mid-single digits and the dong in fractions of a dollar, is a necessary step to ensure the system's accuracy and stability when the actual activation is initiated. The eventual process for public participation, once the Tier 5B launch is officially confirmed, is expected to be clear, secure, and highly organized to ensure compliance and market stability. The first step would involve an official announcement signaling the commencement of the public exchange phase. This would be followed by a secure, centralized registration portal where individuals could submit their personal details and currency holdings for verification. Verified participants would then receive specific instructions and appointment schedules for visiting designated financial centers or banks to physically present their currency. The use of temporary holding accounts during the authentication process would ensure that funds are traceable and compliant before full, final access is granted. The entire procedure is meticulously designed to be calm, traceable, and fair for all involved. The rationale behind the current lack of widespread public announcement remains a fundamental component of large-scale monetary transitions. A premature public disclosure could trigger uncontrolled speculation, massive market volatility, and a spike in security issues. Governments and major financial institutions rely on phased rollouts and stringent confidentiality agreements to manage the transition smoothly. This is why the updates appear in the form of silent software changes, internal compliance briefings, and technical synchronizations, rather than front-page news. By the time the official public announcement is made, the vast majority of the critical infrastructure and groundwork will already have been completed, ensuring stability and a controlled environment. The silence in this context is a sign of coordination. Adding a crucial layer to this systemic preparation is the continued strong economic momentum observed in Vietnam. Over recent years,